So we've had a couple of really sad days for Mr. Microsoft. Basically,
Rip.
we lost Scalebound altogether. Quantum Break sucked. Gears of War didn't do that good.
I still haven't played it.
I've watched people play
Phantom Dust kind of starting to...
Phantom Dust?
Yeah. Is that what it's called? Phantom Dust?
The other one,
The Debris?
yeah, Phantom Dust.
Yeah, isn't that one kind of starting to burn out?
Yeah.
I think, to be very honest with you, this is just my personal, and I'm curious to hear your guys' opinions, but I think that the kind of wick or the fuse is kind of burned out on a lot of these games from Microsoft. But Mr. Phil Spencer himself has been quoted as saying that he's just the Xbox brand. Now, this is not including PC and all that fun stuff that they're doing, but the Xbox brand is moving away from the Halo and Gears with different things, leading way towards the future.
For 2017.
For 2017. So I guess my question is, what can they do? Because this is the only franchises that they have.
This is Phil Spencer trying to save his job, because the rumors that were coming out before he made this announcement was he was on the chopping block.
Well, for years, the Xbox division of Microsoft has been on the chopping block.
Yeah.
They've been courting dozens of potential suitors for selling that off completely, especially under the recent change of regime over the past few years.
Well, their biggest problem was Xbox One never really found its identity. Like, they kept chasing every new niche that came out. They're like, user-generated content. Let's do this Project Spark thing. Indie games. Let's bring them all on board. The original vision for Xbox One was completely destroyed by the internet.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
So, just with that in mind, we could have had, and I'm not saying that we would have had, I'm saying we could have had digital game sharing with our family in a legitimate way, not the hokey pokey way that I have to do it with PlayStation and so on and so forth. We could have had an always on system. Maybe we could have actually realized the power of the cloud.
I feel like this is like literally the Ouroboros. Like we're watching like the internet eat itself from things that would have been awesome, but because they didn't understand it or it was different, like everybody was against it.
So it's literally like this awesome dragon that's now eating its tail.
Yes.
Which would be an Ouroboros.
That's the Ouroboros.
Yeah, it's well, I was for those of you not in the know.
And you just okay. All right.
Man, we're on YouTube.
Hold on. Let's not say that, Joe. You're just a real big fan of Ouroboroses in general, so you were just applying your own.
I guess.
You have Ouroboros pins.
I have it on my wallet.
For those of you that are 11, don't know what that is.
Jeez.
I've now given you a visual.
It's true. Maybe
imagine if you will.
For me, I'll be honest with you. I like Halo. Halo's cool.
Have we got Halo Wars?
I don't really care about Halo Wars.
Yes, but me.
I understand.
Another one of our presenters. Love this game.
But at least two of us are in love with Halo Wars.
Which is
hey, David will be on board with it too. That's 3.
My thing is just
I think 50%.
They should have at this point had more properties.
Yeah.
But every time they try a new property, it gets shit on because people won't buy it or the reviews are shit. Like, it's like there's so many things that prevent a new franchise or new IP.
It's a catch-22. You don't want to invest in a new franchise because you don't know how well it will do. And then you don't want to put out a sequel because the internet then asks you, why aren't you doing something new?
Right.
And I will go back to that later.
Yeah.
Then what is Microsoft bringing to E3 this year?
Surprise me. Show me something I haven't seen before. Maybe show me Crackdown.
Yeah, you know what's going to happen?
Exists, right?
What's going to happen? They're going to actually bring you back an actual sequel to Fable. Not a Fable Legends, but an actual Fable.
Fable 4?
Yeah.
That would be nice. I don't think that's going to happen.
There hasn't been one of those since 2011.
Then the studio just the studio's gone. Lionhead is gone.
owns the property.
I understand they own the property, but the studio that made the game is gone.
The people who are making it still exist. You can bring all those guys back together.
Some of those people had to have lost their job now.
But they haven't lost their lives.
They are working in other places, I think is what he means.
In other faces?
Yeah, money can do a lot of things.
I guess. I'm
saying if you're Microsoft, you're grasping a straw.
This is, I guess.
Well, I'm saying if you're Microsoft and you bring Fable as your mic drop moment, you're fucked.
That's the problem is like they don't have a IP that they can bring at this point. There's no old IP that they can really bring back at this point.
One of the recent reports that I read was between 24 and 26 million was the install base for the Xbox One.
Mm-hmm.
And in that same article, in the same breath, the same paragraph, the PlayStation 4 install base is over twice that.
Yeah, it's just. But the thing with the PlayStation,
it's going on almost 3 times that now.
It's creeping up, yeah.
But with PlayStation, you have franchises like Infamous that was a launch title. You have franchises like Ratchet and Clank that just had a new game that came out that they always
Uncharted,
do well.
Let's get into it. Horizon's there.
Horizon's coming out. Last of Us. Yeah. Christ, fucking even the games that people shit on. What was it called? Beyond Two Souls. That game sold.
Yep.
Like maybe you didn't like it, but you bought it to try it because you liked Heavy Rain that came out before. So it's like their franchises work, and they have a lot of there. That's the thing.
Not to mention, let's face it, it's hard for an American-based console like developer to go to the Japanese marketplace and say, "Bring us your third party and your third party games."
Well, they're all mobile now, baby.
Yeah.
If you ain't on the go, you ain't in Japan.
Between that and the fact that they're all so deeply rooted with either Nintendo or Sony,
right?
Like trying to court them to an American marketplace and a solely American marketplace at that, because the install base for Xbox in Japan is like nil.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I guess in closing, like, do you think that we're about to see Microsoft as Microsoft Studios like dissolve?
Well, I think
what do you think is about to happen?
I think that they're going to move on from Microsoft Studios and first-party games as the pillars of Xbox One. I think there's a reason why a service like EA Access is on Xbox One and not on anything else. They're going to really rely on those third-party relationships to get them through at least this cycle, get them through to Scorpio. I think the messaging may change a little bit where they look at the Xbox One as a failure, even though it did very well. Like 24 to 26 million install base is nothing to sneeze at. I think they look at Scorpio as the next logical step, and I think they ride that train real hard, where the message was at E3 last year, this is an Xbox One, it's the same generation, all this stuff comes with you. That's great. Maybe that's a nice bullet point on the box so you can play your Xbox One games. They need to treat Scorpio like it's the next step, because if they don't, then they're screwed. And there's a huge opportunity here with PlayStation 4 and the way the Pro came out, and it didn't really pick up the way that I think Sony was hoping it would.
But it's kind of rocketing now, especially with the recent developers coming out talking about how the real experience in playing these games is Pro.
But the sales haven't rocketed yet.
I'm concerned as far as Scorpio's concerned. Is I don't think that's the thing that a new system isn't going to fix this. Is what I'm getting at.
I think you need to leave, as shitty as this sounds, I think you need to leave the Xbox One brand behind. And I still think it's doing really well. It's just there's a negative connotation to it with its primary competitor being the PlayStation 4. Now, the Xbox One did have a breath of fresh air the last several months, led the holiday, led several months leading up to the holiday.
Number one selling console. To December.
Yeah, exactly. So you look at that and you go, okay, this is an okay platform. It's better than okay. But there's something going on there internally where they're canceling games.
Those S sales was the UHD drop.
That helped. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, the S sales definitely were better.
Sure.
But I don't know. Do you think
I've got 2 points to this.
Okay.
One.
Let's hear them.
You're saying the install base is 25, 26 million. How many of those install base systems are sitting in GameStop dungeons right now, though?
That's possible. Yeah, that's true.
Because they're only tracking new console sales.
I can tell you just from my point of view, like, there's not a lot. I'll tell you that. But I mean, that's a very small.
Yeah, and you're sampling.
But I imagine there's probably more.
Even if you're talking, if every GameStop location has 4 in stock,
that's still a lot.
And then that's how many GameStop locations roundabout is it? You guys have a better idea.
It's 4,600 domestically.
Yeah.
So let's just do the math there. You're looking at
EBs.
You're looking at about like
16,000.
We're saying 16 to 20,000, but that's still against an install base of 24 million.
Yeah.
Just for GameStop.
Right.
So I mean, you're talking about there's probably 5 to 10% of that install base is sitting in dungeons.
That's true. I don't know. My personal thing is I
like how I said I had 2 points.
Oh, go say your second point. Man. You stopped and you looked at me like you wanted me to say some shit.
The second point was
by land and by sea.
If Yes, exactly. If Scorpio does not sell, if it does not get adopted, I think Microsoft goes the route of Atari and Sega.
But
by choice, not by necessity.
Yeah, by choice because they're already trying
by
to.
Necessity.
No, because they're already with the Universal Windows platform and the Xbox.
They've been trying to sell off the Xbox
in Windows. It's been in Windows since Windows 7. Now.
Right.
So I mean, they've been
Microsoft
trying
Live?
to make the leap to just making it all one universal thing. I think if the Scorpio fails as a console, so I mean they're taking a loss on the sales of that in general anyway, and then they're also not selling the system, so they're not picking up the user base. I think they just basically say, you know what, we're still making money making games. When we make a Halo game, it sells. So why not just go as a third-party developer, sell it on Nintendo, sell it on Sony, sell it on the PC, and get all the markets,
the
and
Xbox,
get all the money.
The Xbox is a very volatile property for Microsoft because it makes a lot of money during the Xbox 360 years, especially when they were in the green, selling all of these systems at a profit, and then it loses a lot of money because those first couple of years you're paying for it.
Right.
Yeah,
So
you gotta make money back on Xbox Live.
They've never had the patience with the Xbox brand, and that's why you always hear that, oh, Xbox might be sold off to somebody, it might be sold off to Samsung, you don't know what's going on with it. That being said, there's some opportunity here. They're not screwed. I sit here and I go, they're fucked if they don't do this. Yeah. Microsoft is never fucked. Ever.
I just think the Microsoft as a company won't ever be fucked, but I think Microsoft in terms of gaming can be.
And I think it's because they don't have the patience to see through a perceived failure.
But that's...
Well, here's the thing.
Hold on. I think that there's some responsibility that falls on its audience too, to not just shit on every new thing that
trust me.
It's like, yeah, I understand that you may not like it, but you may not like it. Don't go tell everyone that this thing is shit.
It's the hive mind mentality.
It's just like, it's the worst. I hate seeing that on the internet.
But I mean, if that's the fair market that everything scrutiny that everything has to go through, I mean, it's part of just the deal. Well, if the same microscope is looking at everything, then it's just part of the structure of the way things are nowadays. You either accept it and learn to be part of it, or you fail and you move on.
Or people could just become better people.
That's never going to happen. The internet is for trolls and for porn.
Right. There's a very vocal minority that make themselves sound a lot louder and a lot more than they really are.
Yeah.
And they do have legitimate influence on
it's just
some of these things that are happening, which sucks, but it's both ways. I agree.
Well, you folks have heard our opinion or whatever. So you go ahead and put your opinion down there, and hopefully if you get some good stuff in there, we'll bring it up next week. But yeah, so throw all your stuff down in the comments. Hate the video, like the video, do all that cool stuff.